You want to change your life, good. You want more success, more fulfillment, deeper love, financial freedom, a sense of purpose that lights you up every morning, great. But let me tell you something that most people don't want to hear. You're just one decision away from a completely different life, one mental shift, and it's not out there somewhere in the future. It's right here, right now. Here's the truth. Your life is a direct reflection of the standards you hold for yourself, period. You don't get what you want, you get what you tolerate. The difference between people who create extraordinary lives and those who settle isn't luck, intelligence, or resources. It's the ability to shift from a mindset of reaction to one of ownership. That's the one shift. Ownership, that's it. Not the kind that says, yeah, I'll take responsibility if things go well. No, I'm talking about radical, non-negotiable, unapologetic ownership. The kind where you stop blaming the economy, your boss, your past, your parents, your spouse, the government, or the algorithm. The kind where you say, no matter what happened to me, I am the one who writes the next chapter. Let me ask you, what would your life look like if you took full ownership of your energy, your time, your emotions, your growth? Not just when it's convenient, but when it's hard, when you don't feel like it. When it hurts, when you're tired, when nobody's watching, that's when the real you shows up. The problem isn't your circumstances. The problem is the story you're telling yourself about your circumstances. Change that story, change your future. When you shift from victim to creator, from blame to power, from excuses to execution, everything changes. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. And the beautiful thing, you don't need 10 years of therapy, $1 million, or a new identity to start. You just need to decide right now that your life is yours, fully, completely, totally, because the truth is this, your future isn't something you step into. It's something you shape, and that shaping starts the moment you make that one shift to OW in your life. So I challenge you, no, I dare you to stop waiting, stop hoping, and start owning. Your destiny isn't a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. This is your moment. Make the shift. Rewrite your future, because no one else will do it for you. Radical ownership is the mental shift that changes everything. It's the moment you stop pointing fingers and start pointing the thumb. It's not glamorous, it's not comfortable, but it's where transformation begins. See, most people go through life with a story that sounds like this. If only my parents had raised me differently. If only the economy wasn't so bad. If only my boss appreciated me. If only I had more time, more money, more luck. And while those reasons might feel valid, they keep you stuck. They put your power in the hands of something or someone else. And the longer you live like that, the more you convince yourself that you're just a passenger in your own life, waiting for the world to change so you can finally start living. But radical ownership is the decision to say, I am not a victim, I am the cause, I am the creator. It doesn't mean everything that's happened to you is your fault, but it does mean it's your responsibility to respond in a way that builds, not breaks. Because here's the truth. If you don't own your choices, someone else will make them for you. Life doesn't wait for people to be ready. It rewards those who step up and claim it. That means owning your energy when you're tired, your mindset when you're discouraged, your effort when you feel like quitting. It's about saying, no one is coming to save me, and that's a good thing. When you take radical ownership, you gain leverage. You stop being at the mercy of moods, opinions, or external chaos. You become grounded, centered, powerful. And suddenly, what once felt impossible becomes manageable. You stop waiting for permission and start creating momentum. And here's the magic: when you own your results, you also own your potential. If you can take responsibility for where you are, you unlock the ability to direct where you're going. That's the real power. That's when life opens up. The moment you stop blaming and start owning, you shift from a passive observer to an active architect of your destiny. It's not always easy, but the greatest breakthroughs don't come from comfort, they come from courage. And the first courageous step is choosing ownership every time. No excuses, no exceptions, just ownership. That's the shift that rewrites your future. Your standards are the invisible script running your life. They shape what you accept, what you pursue, and ultimately, what you become. You may think you're working toward what you want, but in reality, you're living according to what you tolerate. That's the difference between people who lead extraordinary lives and those who settle for average. It's not intelligence. It's not talent. It's the level of standard they hold for themselves in every area, from their health to their relationships, from their focus to their follow-through. When you raise your standards, you raise your life. It sounds simple, but it's profound. If your standard is to get by, you'll always find a way to just survive. If your standard is to be excellent, to push limits, to give your all, then that's what your actions will start aligning with. And the beautiful part is this: you don't have to change your entire life overnight. You just need to draw a line in the sand and say, from this moment on, I will no longer accept less than I'm capable of. That one declaration, backed by consistent action, can create a ripple effect across everything you touch. Most people think discipline is the driver of success, but discipline follows standards. If you expect more from yourself, you'll act differently. You'll wake up earlier, speak with more intention, train your mind, protect your energy, guard your time. You'll say no to distractions because you've already said yes to something greater. Raising your standards isn't about being perfect, it's about no longer settling for less than you know you deserve. It's about making your inner world stronger than the outer pressure. And yes, people around you may not understand it. When you raise your standards, you challenge the comfort zones of others. You may lose some people, but you'll gain clarity, confidence, and a sense of self-respect that's unshakable. Life doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you demand from yourself. So if you want a better body, better mindset, better relationships, better results, don't just want them, expect them, demand them, live in alignment with those expectations. Because when your standards rise, everything around you has to rise with them. That's how you elevate. That's how you break through. That's how you lead. The story you tell yourself is the foundation of your entire life. It's not your circumstances that define you, it's the meaning you attach to them. Every person has a narrative running in the background of their mind. That narrative shapes their identity, their behavior, and their future. The problem is, most people never question the story they've been telling themselves. They say things like, I've always been this way, or people like me don't get those kinds of opportunities, or I'm just not good at that. And without realizing it, they're building a future based on limitations instead of possibilities. Your story can be your prison or your power. It can chain you to the past or launch you into the future. When you choose to shift your story, you take back control. You stop reinforcing old patterns and start creating new ones. You stop living as a character in someone else's script and start writing your own. This is where transformation begins, not with more information, not with more effort, but with a new identity. When you stop identifying as someone who is stuck, broken, or unlucky, and instead begin to see yourself as powerful, resourceful, and resilient, your decisions, habits, and outcomes change in alignment with that new identity. It's not about lying to yourself, it's about choosing a more empowering truth. Maybe your past was full of pain, maybe you made mistakes, but that's not the whole story. That's a chapter, not the conclusion. You are not your past, you are the author of your next chapter. And the moment you decide to tell a different story, one that emphasizes strength, growth, learning, and purpose, your future begins to reshape itself around that belief. Every breakthrough starts with a story shift. You don't change your life by forcing willpower. You change it by shifting identity, and your identity is built on the story you repeat most often. So what if you started telling a story of strength? A story where challenges refined you, not defined you. A story where every setback built resilience. If you're willing to change the narrative, you can change the path, one thought, one choice, one shift. Your story is the script for your life, and it's time to write a new one.